Hello, everyone.
Howdy.
Get a low wave from Denny over here.
A high five or a low wave?
There you go. All right, guys. On Wednesday, we started these. We should call them the wide boy suspenders, or the.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the fat boy bronc halter, so I kind of almost want to call them the fat boy suspenders, but that has a whole different connotation, so maybe that's too much. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I mean, that's usually when you. Hey, whatever. I'm getting off track here. I don't even know where I started with this. Welcome, everyone. We are finishing up the suspenders, so we got them all tooled on Wednesday and yesterday. So straps are beautiful, super awesome. I did just think about it because we were sitting here talking about the whole mirroring situation, and so I might take the pattern that we have linked to Wednesday's video and have Ryan and Andy mirror the tooling pattern and put both of them on there. That way you guys don't have to manually mirror it at home if you did want to tool this pattern. So I might do that, probably not this week, but maybe check back next week if you are interested in that option, and you can re-download the tooling patterns. So got those all ready to go. Aren't they gorgeous? Look at these. Ooh, we're kind of far away, but that's okay. Denny, what'd you antique them with?
Light brown.
Light brown.
Light brown paste. Phoebing's paste.
That's very nice. There's just something about that natural color.
Yep, I like it.
Everybody go zoom. Alrighty, folks, we've got our class 26 in here. We've got the little, this is the back chape.
Yes.
The back chape to hook onto your center back belt loop. And then we've got our two front chapes with 1-inch buckles, 1-inch swivel snaps. This is an inch and a half, inch and a quarter.
Right, inch and a half.
Inch and a half swivel snap. And then we've got two 1-inch and two center bar buckles. You're just going to make, let's see here. I guess really you can make this however, like what's your...
You can adjust that for length. I made it so they'll fit me in this center hole like that.
And then,
hopefully.
Right. So how he's got it here is if you are in the last hole, you're coming about center on this particular shape. But if you are all the way in the first hole, you are covering pretty much the whole thing. But you probably don't want it too much longer than that because it's going to start getting into like where you sit in that kind of area, which might be uncomfortable. Yeah. So. And then I think it was Dean. Somebody said you always need a keeper, and I suppose you could just plop a keeper in here and rivet it if you wanted to.
You could.
But you don't necessarily need it because you do have the buckle as its own keeper. But if you did want another keeper, you can house it in between this move right here.
Yeah, if you make an extra long billet, yeah, a keeper wouldn't hurt. Mm-hmm. But still, you're only going to. If you've got a billet that's this long, a keeper's not going to help you too.
Ideally, this is going to be buckled probably in the middle one. You're going to fit it to whoever, and then it's just going to be just like, it's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's going to be perfect. I don't feel like men's pants go high and low as much as women's do.
No. That's why men wear suspenders, so they don't go low.
So they don't go low. And then this is our little yoke piece that will house the straps going into the elastic. And then we have 2-inch elastic.
Yeah. And if you really think you need a longer suspender, make a longer set of elastic in the back.
Yeah, if you're that dude out in Sheridan that's like 7 foot tall, just get some more elastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't actually know where he lives. I just found him in Sheridan at the leather show, but... He was like the tallest person I've ever seen in person. Wild. All right.
I guess first off, let's cement. Oh, I need to skive the back of these.
All right.
And if you want to, while I'm doing that, you could cement this.
Yes, Captain. Good morning, everyone. Larry, Dean, Eddie, William, Dave, Terry, Kevin. I think I got everybody on Facebook. Luna, what are you doing? happening?
Do we have an intruder?
Maybe. What is it? Did the squirrel get in? Hey.
I'm just skiving the ends of these down where it goes into that little frog on the back, so we don't have a big lump there. No one likes lumps.
No, nobody wants lumpy. Should I also glue inside this to this?
Yes, glue inside and
Okay.
you'll have to glue the inside first.
Yeah, I already messed that up, but don't tell anybody.
Okay, I won't.
Okay, thanks.
I won't. And since I've got that done, I'm going to get this rock.
She doesn't know.
And I'm going to mark a stitch line on these. Got this set at probably 3/16.
Prevents plumber's cracks.
Yes, it does. I don't know, it seems like the trend for a while was plumber's crack. I mean, it was desirable.
Yeah, I think people just really liked to like show off their underwear brand. You know, for those of you that are want to do something in veg, don't do a lot of tooling, start out with a good basket weave. Like, basket weave can be real nice. You know, they're pretty darn straightforward. It takes some practice to make them look, you know, real good, but I think that that's a good start.
A good basket weave or geometric looks good.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with them.
Thanks. We got this roughed up right here so that the glue sticks. You can't really see it, but it's roughed up. Make sure you rough up where you're gluing. Friday, high day. Yeah, I might open the door in a minute because there's going to be a lot of gluing. And it's very nice outside.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I was starting to get toasty filling orders in here.
Like 65 degrees, I think. I looked just before I came in here.
Nice.
Yeah, we're looking at 70 degrees here in the next hour.
Denny, you said you used 5 to 6 ounce 2-ply?
Yes.
All right, 5 to 6 ounce 2-ply.
4 to 5 ounce would be good. I think 4 to 5 is what I use.
Oh, okay.
Not 5 to 6. 5/6 would be pretty.
A little
be
too
okay,
hefty.
but it would be pretty heavy.
All right, so we've got for this piece, Denny cut it just under 11 inches. So like 10 1/4, you could probably do a full, or 10 3/4, you might be able to do a full 11 if you wanted to. But that's about the length of our strip here. I think this is the only part not on the pattern. So just FYI.
The glue dry.
Until it's tacky. But honestly, that's not right. This way. Gotta go up and then over.
And I feel like if I don't have to do that twice, I haven't done it right.
Well, good.
Oh, we're going to see 80 degrees.
Because I always think that I've got it figured out, and then I don't.
70s all week.
Ugh, I'm gonna try to get some yard work done tomorrow. I gotta cut stuff back. I gotta cut stuff back before stuff starts growing on the stuff that I don't want it to grow on.
That's my plans this weekend.
Let's get a. See if that goes down. So this way.
Okay. I'm just going to stitch these while you're doing that.
Okay.
Since I can't do anything else. And I have a piece here that I brought in that I can make sure the machine's still set. I set this up yesterday evening.
Who knows what happened between yesterday and
That's
today.
exactly right.
Oh. Oh, Chevy was watching some of our old videos. Chevy, we don't want your snow. We already had some. Thank you very much.
It's gonna be rain.
Okay.
You don't get any more snow this year, probably.
He was rewatching some of our old horse tack videos, and he's curious what the 2-year update on the bamboo is. Apparently you were talking about some bamboo a while ago.
Your bamboo in the back of your yard.
Oh yeah, it's still there. We've got it. You want it? You'll have to come and get it. Looks good.
Oh, no.
Are you a bamboo fan, Chevy?
Is anybody a bamboo fan?
You may be beforehand. But if you ever plant it anywhere, it has a mind of its own.
Yeah. And the root system, like you just can't win. I think I've got it pretty well tamed behind my fence, but inside the fence is still a little bit wild. However, I now have a vine that's starting to grow over my bamboo, and so it might be preventing some of the bamboo from, I don't know. It seems like our winter last year was cold enough to kill off some of my old stalks, and so some new ones grew, but there was a lot of dead that was left in there.
Yeah, ours died last year too, but it came back again, but it wasn't big like it had been in the past. It was
Yeah.
spindly.
Bamboo fly rod.
If I had my druthers on bamboo, I would have like 10 or 12 stalks that I could just let grow huge and tall.
Right?
You know, get like
And then
6
use them for
inches of-
something.
Yeah, or just have a monkey that would climb them for me.
This is what you just like, you plant them in some sort of like a concrete cage so they can't get out.
Yeah.
And then that's what I told Chris, because Chris is like, well, I really like them. I like having the privacy. I like the big tallness. And I was like, okay, well then we'll get some like those big old horse troughs.
Yeah.
And then I was like, we'll put those into the ground until they're about 6 inches sticking up. And then we'll put bamboo in them. And then the bamboo can grow out of it. But if the root attempts to go over the edge of the trough, then I'll just cut it off. Which I know it can jump because it does it just in the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, it's alive.
Old cane poles are hard to beat for early spring crappie.
Oh, I wish I was going crappie fishing.
Well, it sounds like you're gonna have a really nice week to do it.
I know.
Do we have crappie here?
Yeah.
Oh.
We have
Okay.
plenty of crappie here.
I feel like I've heard that before.
And this is winter time and spring and fall are the best times for crappie fishing, really. Colder weather, seems like.
So just avoid the summer and you're good to go.
Well, you know, there's people that do fish for crappie all year long
You
and
have
do
to
well
fish
at
for
it.
them at night if you're fishing for them summertime.
Yeah. They live really deep in the summertime too. Now,
All right.
you can cement these.
So we got our lining and our other one
Yep.
goes this way. Oh, you wanna? Well,
Oh, sorry.
Just like right there. That's fine. Well, Denny, what's everybody working on this weekend in your saddle class?
Well, we fit our seat last week, and now everybody has them laying out flat to dry. And now we're just gonna, this week we're gonna just wet the very seat part, the sit-down part, and actually block it in where it actually fits the saddle. And then, after that, we've gotta let that dry, so while that's on the saddle drying, everybody's gonna build their fenders and stirrup leathers. And then we've got a lot of little catch-up things to do, like rig catchers and rosettes and stuff like that.
Little accessories that have to start going on pretty soon?
Yeah. Well, they have to be done before we can finish the saddle, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a good thing to do while something else is
Drying.
like curing out, like the sea. Because we're drawing down to the line as far as getting it done. I would like to have it done have them done by the end of the month. I'm thinking we might run it a week or two over, but if we do, that's all right. You know, because everybody, after their seats all dried, next week we will glue the seat down, and then we'll fit our cantle binding. And it's got to dry, so it'll be another week before they can stitch it, and that's going to make everybody cry.
How they been doing sewing?
They've been doing good.
They've
been doing good, but the cantle binding is a little different deal.
That doesn't sound like a good time.
Well, it's 5 layers of leather they'll be going through.
Pushing the machine to the tilt.
Chevy wants to know how his saddle is doing.
Your saddle is sitting there on its rack. It's happy, but it says, I really would like to meet Nick.
She's getting lonely, Chevy. She's getting lonely.
Yeah, Liz thinks I need to make it a pair of booties because its little feet are getting dusty.
Yeah.
Just sitting around. But I promise you, I'll wipe it off before it gets to Wyoming.
He'll let the road breeze.
Shine it up. Saddle soap it good. That's my favorite thing, you know, saddle soap.
I do. She'll be well soaped for you. All right, Diddy, you pre-punch these holes. Now I got to be careful.
If it comes through, that's all right because it's already got a finish on the outside. It'll peel off easy. So I say.
I'll just try not to be too goopy.
I always forget and I do stuff and don't even think about if I'm on the camera or not. Usually, if you aren't
That's
doing
crazy.
something, you keep me in tow.
Yeah. I try. You're a little wily sometimes, but together we work on it.
Yeah.
Chevy said you're not going to ride it to Sheridan? Gotta know if it works.
I might make my wife ride it to Sheridan.
Yeah, he'll sit her in the back of the pickup bed, and she can buckle in on the saddle as he drives down the highway.
That would be a sight.
We'll get her in a helmet so the bugs don't take her eyes out. And then that would be hilarious. She would love that.
I'd pay to see that.
Maybe we shouldn't suggest it because she'd probably be pretty down.
She'd be like, yeah, I'm in. I'm gonna call that ready.
Okay.
Good job, Liz.
Thanks. I am about to go open that door though.
I got it, you're good.
Thanks. All right. Oh. Sorry, guys. We're sewing in the dark. Kevin, Denny used his 12 ounce, Ed LeBaire Mall. Ed LeBaire.
You know, I've always pronounced it Ed LeBar, but
Yeah.
he
calls
goes himself by the
Bear
Bear
Man.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe.
I don't think he would be mad at my reiteration of his name.
Yeah.
I think he'd go with it.
Ed, if you're listening, tell us how we pronounce your name.
I think it's LeBar. I think I just got carried away with the bear side.
He was here and no one ever asked him how to pronounce his name.
Denny, how often do you use a roller when you're putting things together?
Pretty much never.
Okay.
I just press it down with the heel of my hand or whatever. Sometimes I'll use my slicker on the backside. And
Do you try to, like, because these are fully tooled, do you feel like that would lay down a bunch of what you did?
you want to make sure everything's dry and cured before you put any pressure on a
Yeah.
tooled piece of leather. Because you can disfigure it pretty easy. But this, I mean, the thing's not too wide to begin with,
Yeah.
and we're gonna stitch it down, and the pressure foot on the machine is gonna create more pressure than I can put on it with a roller anyway, so.
Sure is. Are you using 138 or 207, Denny?
138.
138 top and bottom. Cynthia was really excited that Chevy wanted your saddle. And she was like, oh, you got a horse? And he was like, no, I just want a saddle. He said, it's too pretty. That's pretty funny. Oh, do you need more than that?
No, this,
Okay. How much water?
I didn't get the lid on there all the way.
See, this is all I do. Right here. I can go on the back side. Rub it down too.
Kevin says, when in a long run, if your thread breaks, what do? Rip it all out and start again?
No. What depends on how anal you are.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
You
Typically,
can,
we'll
yeah.
just go back like 3 or 4 stitches.
Yeah, I'll just pull the thread back from the underneath side until everything looks good on top. Generally, when you run out of thread or break a thread, it'll pull a knot to the top or two. So you want to get rid of those and clip it off. Leave yourself about 1/8 of an inch tag on the end of it and burn it. And then start over.
Yep.
You know, if you're doing something that's gonna have like a finish on both sides, that might be a little different story. You might want to pull some thread out and start over.
Yes, we do hammer it. Typically, Denny will hammer his, well, with the machine stitch line, I don't see so much hammering. Like if you have really heavy foot marks, like if you're doing something thick and you end up with some foot marks, you could, try to rub that out a little bit. But with this, I don't think Denny would hammer it.
No.
He's gonna always hammer his lacing. So if he has a laced edge, that will get kind of hammered down when he's done. And I like to hammer down my hand sewing just because I feel like it seats it a little bit better because I don't have the, like the pressure from the machine.
Do you ever, when you hand sew, do you use an overstitch wheel or
I
a
don't.
stitch marker? If you did that, if you used an overstitch wheel and an awl to hand stitch with, after you're done, you can go back over it with an overstitch wheel, and it straightens a lot of irregularities out and makes the stitches lay down nice. And Chris Andre claims that if you set your machine up right, you can use an overstitch wheel on a machine stitch if you've set the stitch length right, and that'll make the backside look almost as nice as the front side.
Yeah, I did just invest in a pair of reverse chisels so that I can chisel from the back.
Oh yeah.
As well as chiseling from the front, so that hopefully will alleviate my weird backs, like the little bit of variation that you get from the awl.
I didn't realize they made such a thing as
I honestly, I don't know if it's a new thing or if I'm just new, but I do feel like there's enough people that were requesting reverses. I don't feel like maybe 5 years ago.
3 to 4 years, because when I was doing leather work, I remember.
Yeah. I don't think that they've been around for forever. I feel like that's a little bit of a new thing. But I ordered from Crimson Hide, so I got the same set, and I got eaches. I only had a 2 and a 5 prong before, but going around a circle or like a tight, like if I had any sort of, like going around a belt loop or something, the angle isn't quite right as you try to walk your way around a circle. So I also got individual chisels so I could do circles better. I got my set from Crimson Hide because I had gotten a set of regular chisels from them several years ago, and I really like them. Then Kevin rip it all back out and start over again. The nice thing with the machine is they typically go back into the holes that you've already sewn through. I mean, a lot of the times, if you're sewing thin stuff like this, unless you just run out of bobbin thread because either, you know, you didn't check it or maybe you thought you had enough to go all the way through. Usually it doesn't have too big of a problem like breaking thread.
Do you have the French or the Japanese?
I have the Japanese. So it's still an diamond chisel. Oh, Denny's sewing. I told him to be careful because sometimes Luna likes to try to sew on the machine if it's turned on. Do you use your irons to punch holes, Liz? I use them to punch slots. Where'd she go? I hand sewed a machine stitch last night because I was attempting to fix a little belt that had brown and black thread on it, and I didn't quite have the right thicknesses in my machine thread. Plus, it was only just like a very few. It was like right around the tip. It was a little adjustment, and so I sat there and I hand sewed a machine stitch, which really wasn't all that bad. You go through one side with, you know, like one color, and then you come back out, and then you loop through the top color, and then you make your little thing, and you make sure that the knot is in the middle.
Make your little thing.
Make your little loop.
I bet trim too far there.
Oh, instead of just marking the holes. Yeah, I'll punch. Usually my layers aren't all the way together yet, so I will punch through the top layer and the welt. I mean, because I mostly just make knife sheaths, right? So that's what I'm doing. Anyways, so I will get my front all finished up, and then I will glue the welt onto the front, and then I will chisel through the front section. And then before I glue the back on, trim everything up, and then mark my stitch line on the back, and then use my chisel. But now I can mark the stitch line, or not my chisel, use my awl. But now I can mark the stitch line and then line up my top hole and then chisel through the back. And then when I glue everything together, it should come out correctly.
Should.
It should. Or just enough to where when I use my awl, I can just kind of meet up the holes if they're a little bit funky. But honestly, the needle probably should be able to find the hole pretty well, because I'll use a couple needles as indicator lines as I glue it up so that everything kind of comes together. I mean, my chisels definitely hardly ever, like, they won't even usually make it through the front layer and the welt all the way. Like, my chisels aren't going to go all the way through. So there'll be a little bit.
Most stitching chisels aren't long enough to go through real heavy leather.
Unless you're like either bag making or like making watch bands, or like a wallet, kind of those smaller leather goods, your chisels will punch all the way through that. But yeah, I never expect my chisel to come out the back.
Well, the reason chisels won't go all the way through is because the tines have to be so long and they're so thin, they'll bend.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, now.
Oh, it's on this side.
Nice
I caught it.
Nice catch.
Oh, did you? Why wouldn't you use them to make the holes? I think it makes everything look better. I was going to have Isaac share this or make up a little thing. There was a video that I came across the other day, and they were talking about different ways to design things, or different, like, design has been going on since the beginning of time. We have been making things, and then another person will make a different version of the same thing. I mean, like, chairs, buildings, shoes, like, we've been making these things for centuries, millennia, however long you want to say. And so every person, you know, they'll make it with whatever vision it is that they have for the item, or whatever their perspective of that item is. The guy had an example of this designer who took, like, the old Victorian Baroque style chair, I believe. Like, it was this really fancy upholstered wooden chair that had carved legs. Like, it was like, you know, like a King Louis the whatever chair.
Louis the whatever.
I don't know. And so there was a modern designer that did the same style of chair, but he did it out of a clear acrylic, like, injection mold situation. So, like, the style of chair is the same as that old one, but it's a completely new and different concept. And he kind of just, he's like, we're all in a never-ending line of design. Like, has been going on.
It's called evolution.
Correct. It's been going on, and it will continue to go on. And, you know, if you're a person that creates or designs, or, like, you're just you're another cog in the wheel of humanity that is creating and designing things. We have, like, you know, a physical object. Like, people have been wearing suspenders forever. People have been doing all these things forever. Like, we've been sheathing knives and wearing shoes and putting on jackets. And so I think his point was, it's just a privilege to be a part of the process and to be able to share your spin on whatever that standard is. You should view it as, you know, you are adding to a thing that's been around, and not necessarily in, you know, in competition, but as a part of the journey of being human and making things. You know, and it was really beautiful. So anyway, I was going to share with Isaac, and maybe we could make a little thing about it, because I think that it was a really beautiful concept of, we're all kind of in this together doing the same thing. So, like, sharing your expertise, learning from others, collaborating, looking at what's been done before, putting your own spin on something that's been done before. I mean, probably every chair that could ever exist has existed. But it was just, instead of creating competition among makers and designers, you know, it should be a camaraderie of design and influence and skill.
Yeah, because in reality, I don't think anyone is an actual inventor. People are plagiarizers. I am, for sure. But even whoever invented the wheel probably didn't invent the wheel. They probably saw this rock rolling down this hill, you know, with this little bird hopping along on top of it.
Yeah.
And said, hey, I could make something like that to carry my sheepskin on.
Yep. I mean, when you talk about just like math in general, like, we're just trying to figure out how to explain things that naturally occur.
Yeah.
Like, that is math. Is we are attempting to put numbers on things that naturally occur. You know, you look at the shell of a snail. Like, there is perfect geometry within that. And I don't know. I just thought it was a really beautiful thing. This guy, he does all sorts of videos. He does clothing mostly, and so he talks about the evolution of clothes, or the influence of different eras and generations of clothing, different eras and generations of fabric types, and who made them and how they do things. He's really fascinating person to talk to or listen to when it comes to design things. But anyways.
Okay. Could I
Back
see
to
this
pant
again?
holder rubbers. Yes. All right, so we got them sewn.
Got them sewn.
Got 'em edged-ish.
Oh, I forgot to bevel the edges on this. I need to do that really quick.
Zoom, zoom. you want me to start burnishing this?
Sure, if you
Oh,
want to.
Are you gonna do? Were you gonna glue things?
I would. To save time, I was just gonna cement it together and burnish it later. But
Okay.
if you want to burnish it, you're
Well, I don't-
welcome to.
Hexagons are the bestigons.
I think I said something to Denny about this one time, but he was working on a saddle, and I'm like, you ever wonder if you like could take somebody that didn't know anything, and you just gave them the task of, okay, we need, you don't even call it a saddle, but just explain what a saddle is and just see what they come up with. You wonder how similar it would be to what we've come up with now, or would it end up being something completely, you know what I mean? Because it's like, we have what we have
Does this
now.
person know how to ride a horse?
I don't know. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, we have the saddle now, which is like you were saying, just a bajillion ideas all down into this one thing. If you just restarted that process, would it end up at the same thing, or would we come up with
No,
something new?
it wouldn't.
I mean, because we already have several different styles of saddle. You know, you have like the English version, and then you have the Western version, and I'm sure there's there's
Then you
a
have
million
the
variation.
Australian version.
Yeah.
And the South American version. Yeah, they're all so much different. And the old style Southern plantation version, you know, they're all different. They sit on the horse. That's the only
Yep.
thing they all have
The
in
tiny
common.
little military versions that were
Yeah.
just as basic as could be, because it's probably gonna get left out in the field somewhere when its owner and horse both got bayoneted.
Yeah. All right, now we're ready. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is cement right here. And I'm going to, and I didn't bring.
Tupper Howe said, "I heard saddles in the ether and it manifested me." Welcome in.
I didn't bring a scratcher with me, so I'm just kind of,
With your really fine sandpaper.
yeah. But that's all right. It'll still work well.
You sew down into the joint just a little bit so that when we put our little yoke on, we have stitching covering up.
Yeah.
Or the stitching is covered up. We're not loose stitching up in here.
Exactly. Here I do my famous.
Oh my. Woo!
Don't be afraid.
Don't be. I mean, remember when Brandon did that and he lit the whole shop on fire? He's not allowed to do that anymore.
He's not dead.
I'm probably not either. I'm sure if our insurance company was around.
Brandon also has way too much glue on this.
And then he spilled the bottle of glue. It was a whole fiasco.
Well, I glued the wrong side of this anyway.
Oh, you gotta put some glue on the other side now.
Yeah. That's all right, because I dried it with fire.
Bring the marshmallows. Ugh, I haven't roasted a marshmallow in a minute. That's sad.
I had roasted marshmallow flavored frozen yogurt last night, and it was terrible.
Ugh, that doesn't sound good.
It doesn't, and I tried to tell them that multiple times, they're like, try it. And I tried it.
Should we put some glue on this?
Yeah, we can for now. Yeah.
Just for now, not for later.
Well, I've got to glue this first. But that's a good idea, because I've already got the glue on the other side of this.
Yeah, you're already ready to go.
Yeah.
Should I just cover the whole thing?
Yeah, cover the
Okay.
whole thing. Because after I get these on, then I'm going to put the elastic on here, so.
And you're gonna do 2-ply elastic,
Yes.
so that once again, it's gonna snap you back into shape if you try to have bad posture.
Yeah. It'll keep those shoulders straight.
Well, that makes the glue smell different.
Yeah.
Put puts a little twang on it. A little roasty twang.
Now, just
Little
a
glue
little
on the
bit
ends.
of glue there to stick the ends together,
Okay.
and then do that.
Oh, let's hear what. So Denny has cut for himself
I'll be right back.
10 1/4 inches of elastic. 10 1/4 inches of elastic. We're gonna watch that video when this is done because it was just really good.
Sounded like it was motivational.
It was just, it made the whole, sometimes I think that, you know, the I don't know, manufacturing artist community, whatever, and I know that we've talked about this a million times, is like secretive and not necessarily all the time, but you have communities that like to hoard their knowledge.
Yeah, the shoemaking community.
Yeah.
You should try honey.
When you know what, like, if you make a product that you're proud of and that's a good product, then if somebody else is making something as well, like, then they have to make it to whatever your standard is.
How tall are you, Denny?
6 feet. Give or take 3 inches. No. No, I'm 6 feet. I'm 6 feet. I'm a smart aleck, aren't I?
Do you
That's
know
all
the
right.
name of the person on that video, Liz?
No, let's see. Let me see if I
I was
can
gonna
find
share
it.
the link with a few people.
I think it was Nikola Tesla. He's still active on Twitter.
Ken. Ken.
Like Barbie?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna like this because it might melt the nylon.
Oh yeah, that's probably good. That's probably a good call. Hey, Andrea. How are you? We're doing great. We're suspending.
Suspending. This
Well, not-
the
we're-
suspense is terrible.
Nick, look what I have.
I almost wore my shirt today.
Did ya?
I really did. I've worn it before, just not here.
I wear the new one a lot. It's one of my.
Yeah, you had it on like last week.
Yeah.
I think.
I wear it at least once a week.
It's a solid shirt.
Yeah. People love that shirt too.
Everybody likes your shirts. It is a schnazzy bug.
I like mine. I wish I would have worn it today. Instead of it
I know.
last week.
We're in the weird temperature zone of life right now where you're like, oh, it's a little chilly, but then you like get inside and you're doing things and you're like, well, it's toasty.
Where did you watch it? Was it YouTube? Oh, it was? Yeah. Never mind.
Oh, I watched it on TikTok.
I was gonna say.
But did you
It's
fi-
Liz, I feel like it's TikTok.
I don't really spend any time on YouTube. I have never,
That's for Chris.
yeah, I've never figured out that community.
That's Chris's and Liz's afternoon is she shows him TikToks and he shows her YouTube.
I live on YouTube.
That's Chris does too. Like
It's a guy thing. We're all on YouTube.
yeah.
3 designers, 3 chairs. I found.
Well, Andrea, you still have time.
have to.
All right, so you got the yoke placed.
Yep. I think we'll start about in the middle on the bottom.
Yeah, I really like that guy. Anytime, his videos are kind of long, but
I mean, 2 minutes isn't terrible.
yeah.
I guess that is long in today's
By
standards.
today's standards.
But that's why I like them.
I love long videos.
Longer the better,
Yeah.
because then I don't have to scroll for a while.
I mean, it sounds like, you know, I have to watch it, but it boils down to it's a concept that we gets talked about a lot in hunting, where it's like, do you care more about your success or the furtherment of the thing that you're taking part in?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like with Denny. Denny's not in this to sell suspenders or saddles. He wants to like teach people about it because he actually likes Leathercraft. It's not to step on anyone's toes, but that's kind of a question you have to ask yourself: is what do you care more about, the craft that you're doing or selling your craft?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right.
Look at Isaac dropping something.
Well, that's just, it's a big.
Little Isaac wisdom. We don't get one of those very often.
It happens a lot in hunting because guys will just they hold on to everything they've got. It's like, well, that's great and all, but this tradition's gonna die out because that's what you do. So you better get over yourself and pass it on.
Denny, how did you determine like the angle of the straps?
First, I'll tell you one. Okay. The first pair I built was wrong. That's how I determined the angle. I knew I had to make it different, so I just kind of, if you've got a model, you know, put the thing on the back of them and
Yeah, I think it's actually more angle than you expect it to
Yeah.
be.
yeah, because you aren't going right past your neck.
Yeah,
You're
you wanna
going
be
out
on the
your
shoulder.
shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this might not be right either. Who knows?
Denny, we don't say that aloud.
Oh.
We keep that quiet. Bye, Andrea. It's good to see ya. How's your straps going?
Well, it's hard to. You got a lot of stuff here that I got to contend with. There we go.
I will say sometimes on things like that, I prefer hand sewing because then you turn it and it might be a little bit awkward, but for some it just seems less awkward than in a machine.
Yeah.
All right, when you get back over here, let's take a look at. I wonder if I could.
What are we take a looking at?
Well, I was just gonna. So this is let's see, Denny. Let's model it. Whoop whoop whoop. Here you go. That seems good. What do you think? Could it be wider?
No?
Do you want me to come down? This is right here, and then let's see. This will go here. So that's probably about right.
Yeah. Well, I
Maybe a
I
little
kind
bit.
of measured them for myself, so
Yeah.
hopefully they'll be about right.
It was an educated guess.
So I don't know. This is. You just want to make sure that like you don't put them straight up, obviously, because then they'll be. But just a nice.
Yeah, and they'll have kind of a kink in them. Mm-hmm. And that's what the first pair did. They had that kink.
Oh, right. Like this.
Yeah.
This it. Because you're pulling it.
Yeah.
So this kind of gets a little kink because it doesn't want to go that it has to
Yeah,
pull over.
Yeah, it's headed a different direction than you're pulling it.
Right. Right. So you just want to make sure that the straps are laying kind of like, I would put them here and then see where they needed to come up and over to be good. I don't know. You guys play with it. You'll be fine. But just know that that is a thing that you need to think about is the angle of the strap. Honestly, that might be another thing. If you're pretty happy with this, then I might have Andy and Ryan mark that on the pattern.
Well,
The spots.
got it marked on the pattern. See, all they had was the tooling pattern, I think.
Yeah.
So,
I threw it away. Don't tell anybody. See, it's not marked on here.
oh, here it is.
All right. Well, we'll double look at that. Anyways, but we'll add that to the pattern as well. We'll do a. Could you use a swivel?
Sure. You
Like
could.
here?
You could just use a ring here.
Yeah, there's we have that metal tri-ring
Yeah.
that has a slot here and then 2 slots there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for that you need to kind of determine the placement on your back for like how wide the strip is. I think if the strips are wider, it might have to go further down the back to allow it to V out more before it gets to the shoulders.
Right. Okay.
What's up, hopeful
Final
hero?
step. Oh.
All's well.
Not gonna glue very much of this.
It really soaks in pretty quickly on that.
Yeah, the fabric does kind of suck it up. Okay, final stitch line.
In order to answer your question, Rattlesnake, I would need a protractor, and I don't think I have one. Isaac said we just have amateur tractors, not the pro versions, which is pretty good. You're on it today, Isaac.
Yeah.
We'll compare the suspenders to what Denny has on the thing here, and then we will add little marks. I'm sure it is. I'm sure you're exactly right. What is I Am 4? Is that, do you know it? It's a movie? I Am 4?
No, it's right after I Am 3.
Is it?
I've never heard of it, to tell you the truth.
I haven't heard of I Am 4 either. On YouTube, Larry said that Michael was waiting for a sequel to I Am 4. And he said, yeah. Come on, Hollywood. I don't know. In more words. He said that in more words.
I am number 4?
It just says I Am 4.
I'll say I am number 4 was a...
Did I not bring
They
that?
made one movie and never continued the series.
One of the best ones. All right.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi movie. That's specific. Top 12 movies. Number 12 probably.
Is it better than The Fifth Element? Because that's really hard to beat.
Yeah, that is hard to beat. I like that. I don't know why. That's generally not my kind of movie, but I really like that one.
I made Ray Rybar, this old knife maker, watch it when we were out in Vegas last year. And he doesn't, I mean, man doesn't own a cell phone. Or no, I like have an email address, which is fine. but because like I really love that movie, and Tony, my Vegas Tony, also really loves that movie, and so I bought it for him, like the special edition one, and we watched it while I was out there last year, and Ray watched it with us because we convinced him to, and then afterwards he said that was my first sci-fi movie and my last.
Fix that.
He really, it was the blue lady with the stones in her belly. Like that really, he's like, that's just like,
That's
how?
just not right.
Yeah, and so like,
Sci-fi.
that really threw him off. And he was like, okay, I'm good. He really thought that, like in the beginning of the movie, you know how it's like ancient Egypt-y or whatever. And he was like, oh, like he was starting to really get into it. And then it went to the future, and then he was like, I'm out. All right.
Okay, we're finished. The only thing we haven't done is burnish the edges on this. Do a little bit of finish work.
So that's right.
Yeah.
So okay. So I will get this angle for you guys, and we'll have it marked on the pattern, and we'll reattach the patterns. It might be next week before we have that done, but in any case, here is. So there's the suspenders. Look at those.
Let me see if they fit me.
All right, let's put them on. I like
You'll
it.
have to hook the back.
I can do that. Whoop.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'll hook first. Come on, snap. There it goes. All right.
Now see, that's a pretty good guess, wasn't it?
Look at that. It's really popped with
I
that
feel
blue
like
shirt.
Jesse Smith. Because see, Jesse Smith makes suspenders like this. He wears a pair everywhere
Okay.
he goes that are similar to this, the way I remember. So I made my rendition of them.
These are your Jesse Smith spenders?
Yeah.
Okay.
JS.
Are we the same hole? Oh, maybe your pants are just weird. Looks a little. Let's turn around.
Of course my pants are weird.
You got to turn all the way around. And there's the back. Very nice.
The angle's about right.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they're not bunching. They're laying real good.
All right.
Oh, you know what we could do? Just right now, we can measure the space between them. So it is 1.5 inches between the inside legs that come in. So you've got 1.5 inch gap along the top. So that's the angle that we have where they come out. Now add a holster
Yeah,
for Derringer.
but see, they'll cross down here at the bottom. So even if it's 1.5 inches,
Well, you just want to make sure that you 1.5 inches here and then they come down.
yeah.
So that should be, this little section, 1.5 inches through this part, and then line your strip up one on each side, and then, that should be
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that'd be about right. Yeah.
Yep. So that's what Denny is. It's an 1.5 inch gap,
And I'm about right.
and he's about right. All right, guys.
Pretty close to right.
Next week we will be doing on Wednesday. We will have Kevin in, and we'll do a little video using. He wanted to do something special with swivel knives. He just had a thought that he wanted to get out there between swivel knives and X-Acto knives, and so we'll be doing that on Wednesday, and then. After that, Denny and I will be getting into a stirrup lamp build.
A fender lamp.
A fender lamp build.
Yeah.
It does have a stirrup.
Yeah,
in
fender
it.
with a stirrup.
So that will be coming at the end of next week, and then we'll do that for as many videos as it takes for that to get done. Denny's really had to do some R&D for that thing.
Now, I've got to tell you guys, if you're into guesswork, come on down.